How's it going? So I want to start out this video by saying, first of all, nobody panic. I'm in perfect health for the most part. I make videos like this every now and then where I do reports on my health as I'm getting older, and it just is nice to share and everybody can get a good idea what's going on that cares. And if you don't, and I appreciate that because some of you don't know me and some of you are my family. So that being said, I just went to my doctor for my annual and everything is generally great. I have perfect blood pressure. I go to my cardiologist every year. I get my colonoscopies regularly. So I do all the things I'm supposed to be doing. The only issue I have is that I'm overweight. And if you go all the way back to my first video, 9 years ago almost, you'll see I said the exact same thing. But it's only been recently, through research and through talking to my doctor, I really figured out why I'm overweight. One of the things I want to show you is a metric from my recent blood test, and that's going to be right here. And what this shows you is the level of insulin in my blood. And you'll see it's almost double what it should be. Now, I'm not pre-diabetic. I'm not diabetic of any sort. But what that indicates is that my cells are insulin resistant. And when you have a lot of insulin in your bloodstream, that causes you to gain weight. And it also causes, with your diet, if you're eating a lot of carbs, sugar, whatever, when your body needs energy, it looks in your blood for those energy producing things. And it sort of gets turned off to looking in your fat for the energy. And so when your cells become insulin resistant, they still need the amount of insulin they normally get. So what your body does in order to create that balance is create more insulin. And when you create more insulin, you have more insulin in your bloodstream, you gain weight. So I haven't gained a lot of weight recently. I've been pretty stable for quite some time, but I can't lose any. And I'm doing all the things. I'm fasting. And that's the thing. One of the things, fasting is, for extended periods of time is actually quite healthy. So anytime you eat anything, you have little insulin spikes. That's why they say grazing on food all day is a horrible thing to do, because it keeps your insulin level up all the time. If you eat one meal a day, for example, you have your insulin spike then, but then the insulin goes down shortly after you're eating, back to a static level and stays there. So it's better to eat a big meal or a semi-big meal once a day than it is to eat 3 meals a day and or graze all day. Skipping breakfast is the most important meal of the day. Yes, that's what the cereal producers want you to believe. I don't ever eat breakfast. My doctor tells me, don't eat breakfast. Not really good for you to start out spiking your insulin first thing in the morning. So what I'm going to do is, now that we have scientific facts, now that we know how to deal with this, we're going to do a fairly strict regimen of things over the next 28 days. I'm going to do an experiment. I'm going to share this video at the end of it. And what you'll see is every day you're going to see my metrics for the day. And here's what I'm going to do every day. So in the morning, I'm going to get up and I'm going to weigh myself. And I will share that with you. Then I'm going to do a ketosis test. I have these test strips and you pee on them and put them up against a scale and see how much ketocin is in your urine. And you could, based on that, predict what your level of ketosis is. Now, ketosis is basically a state where your body is looking to use the energy in fat rather than energy in your blood. And so that's where we want to be. And there's a healthy range of being in ketosis that we want to try to attain. And we'll see what those results are here in a minute. And so we're going to weigh ourselves. We're going to do our ketosis test. Then I'm going to follow that up When I start to get hungry in the morning, usually I just ignore it because really the hunger pangs you have is just a hormone trying to tell you to eat. You don't have to eat. It's not your stomach trying to eat itself. If you ignore it, it'll go away after a little bit because the hormone will drop off. But hunger pangs are something you should ignore if you're trying to do something like this, and it shouldn't be a problem. So anyway, where was I? Oh yeah, weigh myself, do the Pitocin test. Then I'm going to, in the morning when I start to get hungry, I'm going to drink a big glass of Metamucil and MCT oil. Now MCT oil helps to put somebody in that Pitocin state. It also is generally it's medium medium cholesterol triglycerides. Is that what they are? MCT. It comes from coconut and stuff like that. So anyway, so we're going to have a little bit of MCT oil in the glass and Metamucil, which is a fiber which helps keep sugar down in the bloodstream as well. So that's going to be our morning whatever. Also, Metamucil, as it starts to solidify into a gel, is a little filling in your stomach, and then of course it helps with your digestion as well. So we're going to do that, and then we're going to have lunch about 2 or 3 in the afternoon, and that's going to be my only meal of the day. And I will eat that lunch, and then that's it. If I feel hungry after that, I'll drink water. Now, what I'll be eating, one of the things that my doctor and I talked about was my work situation has changed fairly recently, and I don't really have time to cook as much as I did. You may have noticed I haven't had very many cooking videos lately, but I don't have time to cook so much, and when I do eat, it's not very good food. And he recommended a certain packaged food that you can have delivered, one of the boxes, kind of things, specifically where you can schedule a keto-friendly diet. So I've done that. I don't want to share that until the end because we're going to go through these 28 days and see where we end up. And if we end up positively at the end of the time, then I'll share it then. So we're going to do 28 days. That's my schedule. And we're going to see where we end up at the end of the 28 days. So for day 1, here are my results. Weighing in, starting at 291. I'll tell you what, that's a few pounds more than I was at the doctor's office, mainly because knowing I was going to go into this and start, I kind of let myself go over the last week. It's Memorial Day weekend, had a lot of good food and all that. And so I'm starting there. That is my baseline, 291. My Pitocin test, I am at 0, which means I have no ketosis going on right now in my body at all, which is bad. So hopefully we'll see that rise. And here's me making my drink for the morning and slurping it down. That I won't share with you every day. There's no point in doing it. All right, so that starts today. You have seen day 1. After that, day 2 on, it'll just be a few seconds each day, and you'll see how I progress. And at the end, we'll have another conversation. In the meantime, thanks for stopping by. Thanks for listening to this. I appreciate your time, and I appreciate you caring enough about me to tune in. And hey, let's see where we end up at the end of the month. And if this works for me, maybe it's something. If you need it, you might be interested in trying as well. All right. Well, see you in a month. Hi there. It's been about 6 weeks and about 2 weeks since I stopped recording my measurements for this experiment. And it's not really an experiment, it's a lifestyle change, but I needed it to be an experiment to help me mentally get into the groove here. And I did record those every day and put them in a sheet. And I've got some graphs and stuff to show you. All right, so over here you're going to see a graph of the ketosins in my urine for that 4-week period. And you'll see we started out at 0 for several days. And of course, we had no carbs, no sugar. We were eating the low carb, keto friendly meals from that service. 0 for several days. And then it bumped up to about 5. And we stayed generally around the 5 to 3 range. We did hit 10 one day. And we had that big anomaly at the end, if you see that spike. That was, I believe, in relation to this video right here, where I created allulose-based ice cream. Not being attuned to eating allulose, I made that and I ate an entire pint of it because I love ice cream. That's my big downfall. I've told you that already. And it actually made me a little ill, mainly because, again, I'm not attuned to it and I ate a lot of it. And the next day, I didn't feel well, and I had a huge spike in my ketones. And you see that on the chart. After that, I've started eating it like about a half pint at a time, and it's perfectly fine. No problems there. All right, so the ketones, definitely you can see where I at least charted, and was staying pretty consistent along that lines. All right, now the weight chart. I started at 291. I made pretty linear progression over that period. I think I ended right around 275. That was 2 weeks ago. Today I'm at 267. So I've lost 24 pounds in about 6 weeks. So I'm about halfway to my goal. My goal is to lose 50 pounds. So I've lost 24. So some thoughts on this. First of all, eliminating carbs and sugars is not terribly hard. The fasting was a lot more difficult than that was. Now, my fasting was pretty extreme. A lot of people do 16-hour fasting. I did 24-hour fasting, sometimes even more than that. It really all depends. My work has me extraordinarily busy all day long. I just don't have the chance to eat. That's why I couldn't cook for myself or anything like that. I don't usually, so I get up, I don't eat breakfast. You're not supposed to, whether they tell you you are or not. It's a horrible idea because it immediately ramps up your insulin for the day. And so get up, don't eat breakfast. If I get hungry, I'll have a glass of Metamucil and MCT oil. If I don't, I don't, which, to be honest, I don't normally get hungry till about 2 o'clock. That is just what my body has gotten acclimated to. So I would typically eat sometime between 2 and 3, and I would have one of these meals. And then I would also add a few things to it, mainly fat or fiber-based. So like Triscuits and cheese, or some jerky, sugar-free. Make sure everything's sugar and carb-free as much as possible. And then drink water, and that's it, and that's all I would eat. So 2 or 3 o'clock, I would have that for a meal, and I wouldn't be hungry the rest of the day. And we would do that on a cycle. Now, there were a few days where I could tell I was low on calories, my brain getting a little foggy, whatever. So, that's when you need to eat, is when you know you're low on calories, not when your stomach grumbles, not when you feel like you need a sweet or some chips or something like that. You eat when you actually can tell that your body needs calories. And so with these 24-hour fasts, with this keto diet, 24 pounds, 6 weeks. That's 4 pounds a week. That's healthy. So hopefully, by the time we get to our next adventure time, which is coming up pretty quickly here in October. I'll be to my target weight, and I'll be able to go and enjoy it and have a great time. In the meantime, this is not a diet. This is lifestyle. This is a choice on how you live your life. And this is what you have to do if you want to be healthy. And so I'm getting there. There's a whole laundry list of things. Look at this list of things that high insulin in the blood causes: inflammation, joint pain, all these things. I'm not feeling them anymore. So on that note, I'm going to say that this works for me. This is what I determined to do in conjunction with my doctor's advice. I'm not out here trying some crackpot diet, fad diet, whatever. I am doing scientifically what is right for my body, and it's working, and I'm really happy about it. I don't know if you can see the difference. I can tell the difference as I go up and down stairs now. I'm not lugging that extra 25 pounds. That's a lot. It's a lot. So anyway, I'm going to get off my soapbox now. This is more me talking to my family and my kids and myself. I'm not trying to lecture anybody out there on anything. I'm telling you my experience. And it's been not bad, and the results have been great. All right, on that note, there you go. I've shared my experience with you. I'll touch base with you time to time again on my health stuff, and we will keep track of things as I cruise here into my 60th decade. Not this year, but next year. All right, everybody. Thanks a lot, as always, for stopping by and spending some time with me. And I will see you next time.